Independent music, the triangle of musicians, fans, and music professionals. This is Tim from the Indie Bands blog, and welcome once again. Who's on today? Let's go find out. Welcome to Independent Music, Indie Music Tips, and someone had to get it. We're on number 13, and it's with Betty Elektro of Elektro PR from the USA, talking about PR and promotion, and also something else that she's involved with, charities and charity gigs. Hi, Betty.
Hi, actually, I love the number 13. That's one of my lucky numbers. So.
Oh, that's all right. That's good. That's good. I'm glad someone wanted it.
I do. I like that number.
Appreciate your time. I know you've just finished breakfast, and it's 8 o'clock here, so I'm just about going to get ready for my evening meal. But we've managed to meet in the middle, which is great. So, Elektro PR, and my big question, which people do know, is I have an issue with the way that bands interact with people like me, bloggers. The last interview that we did was actually about securing radio play, which was talking about press releases and the rest of it. What is it that a PR firm does that a band can't do?
Okay, pretty much what I'm doing is it'll take the stress away from bands because they're entrepreneurs themselves. They have to promote, book, play music, write music. So pretty much what I'm doing with Elektro PR is, promoting the band myself, helping them get more exposure, helping them book as well for some of them. It just depends on what the band needs. So I'm never going to try to tell the band what they need. It's pretty much they tell me what they need and we go from there. Okay. So, I pretty much try to submit their music wherever I can to promote them, work on getting airplay, getting some music reviews with blogs. So pretty much just doing a little bit of everything for them. I actually sit down with them. We try to do a once a month meeting just to see how they feel, how things are going, my suggestions, like what they want to do. So they're always open to doing different things and, connecting with their fans. A big thing for what I do is I really want to work with bands that are open to giving back, to help with charity, because I feel that the more that you give, the more that you get back. And you connect with more people because so many people, now the world is kind of a crazy place and there's so many things going on. And I think a lot of people with the power of music, can connect and actually make a difference. So a lot of the bands that I work with, if they want to be a full-on client, they have to be open to that. So it's been working out pretty well, and with the PR, they appreciate it. A lot of them have been getting some reviews from, blogs in the UK and Puerto Rico and, Los Angeles. So I think music is a universal thing, and it's amazing how anybody can connect with that. And I think with just the PR, I've connected with these bands on a really good level. It's not only professional, but it's, we're working together so they can, do what they love the most and just write music and play music, and I kind of help out with everything else.
I know that Elektro PR is relatively new. We'll come back to the charity stuff a little bit later if we could do, because that's a really interesting avenue on its own.
Yeah.
But for a new band, they're sitting there and they're thinking, oh, we've got to do a website, we've got to do this, we've got to make our songs, we've got to organise our gigs, we've got a whole list of stuff that we've got to do, and we're all working full time and we haven't got time. Before they decide, let's consider getting a PR firm or a promotions firm, in your view, what is it that they need to have their head around to actually make that really work and value for money?
Yeah, to make that decision, I mean, first of all, they have to know, they have to have their stuff together first. They need to know, what they want to do, where they want to play, what their avenue is, who they want to hit up. I know for a lot of bands, they have to think about, of course, if they can afford it. And the thing is, I don't make it even that expensive just because, one, I love doing it that much that to me it's a lot of fun. So for the bands to decide on that, I think they have to know if they're ready to really commit into starting to have all these shows and really working hard at the same time, because even though I'm going to help them out, they have to be ready with their music. They have to be ready to play a show. Because I know for a lot
Yep.
of newer bands, some of them have contacted me and they've never played a show. So I know that's a little bit scary too. So that's when, I take the chance sometimes with these bands that I really love their music, and I will book them for their first show.
Oh, right. So you actually go back to real stage one for a band if necessary.
Yeah. So there's a band out there that has never played a show, but they have really good music. I will take that opportunity and book them, because I did do that for one band a few months ago, and I gave them their first show, and they did amazing. And I think it's just having someone that actually believes in them, because there's so many people out there that, they'll listen to music and they'll say it's crap and it might be amazing, but people don't sit down and take the time to listen to these bands.
Yeah.
And that's what I've been doing, is actually sitting there and listening and seeing, okay, there's potential there. So for the very beginning, for the bands that have never played, that's what I can do. For the ones that are a little bit more established and haven't played shows, I can help them with some of the contacts that I've built in the past year to, get them some airplay. Maybe they haven't played at certain venues that I have connections with and book them there.
Yeah.
So it's more of, for some bands that might not work. Some of them have come to me and said, oh, well, we can do it, because sometimes all the people in the band have some time to work on it. But from most of what I've heard, a lot of these bands, like myself, have a full-time job. And, some of them might not have connections. I've gotten bands that have come to LA for the first time from other areas, and they don't know anything about the music, venues in LA. So I kind of come in and help them with that, because they don't know where to start.
That's quite interesting, because one of the things that I was going to ask you is that if there's a band in, say, Australia, and they're thinking, actually, we're planning on coming out to the US, and we want to get some coverage down in the Los Angeles area, would it be appropriate to make contact with Elektro PR to see if there's something that could be done?
Yeah, that can be done as well. Because that makes a good point. A lot of bands want to come tour in LA and they don't know where to go. So, I would be able to connect them with the people that I know and try to book something. Or, if they have really good music, I can try to connect with my friends here that have local music shows and get them some airplay. So that is possible. I've been contacted by some people in the Bay Area, which isn't that far from here, but some of them have contacted me to try to book them at places. And I think for bands in other countries, that would be helpful if they're planning to come to LA. And if they don't have a manager or anyone that can help them, I could maybe start something up.
Sure. So, to sort of summarize what you're saying about before you start thinking about a PR firm, because that is quite a big decision for bands to make. They know they need more promotion, but they don't really know how to do it. You've got to do some groundwork. It's no good just contacting a PR firm and saying, oh, can you help me, without having any idea what it is that you want help with. You probably can do that, but it's going to cost you a fortune, I would imagine, to go along to a PR firm and say, oh, we don't know what we want to do, but can you help us? And you've got to sit there for 5 days working out what it is you're going to do for them. Well, there's the bill running.
Some of them have to know, I think, and there's one new client that I started working on, he doesn't want to be a full-on client. They booked themselves. They got some good coverage, but, all he wants for me to do, for example, is submit his music to as many music blogs as I can, because they don't have the time for it. And if a band doesn't need all of these services, I'm open to just helping them with one thing. Like, this band is just submitting their music, submitting their new music video to try to get some coverage.
Yeah.
And like everyone knows, it's not guaranteed, because, a lot of music blogs might not respond. They might not like your music, but at least, it takes a lot of time to do all of this. So a lot of bands are like, I want to take the chance to possibly get some coverage from, a blog. So it doesn't have to be a full-on PR thing, because a lot of bands, they're like, oh, I don't know about this, But there's some bands that I might just have to work with for a month or two, or Some of them is on like every month, but it just depends on what they want. And I'm not this big, scary PR firm, and that I think that's what makes a lot of people more comfortable because it's still a startup. You know, I do really feel passionately about this, and I'm not going to screw anyone over. So it's one of those things that we can just work together, and if it doesn't work out, then they can go their own way. And
yeah. Okay, so I think the lesson we could take from that, and your main tip is decide what you want from a PR firm before you even start emailing them or picking up the phone to them.
Yeah, decide what you want and just know what you need. And always talk to everyone in the band, because I know it's always, sometimes one person feels more strongly about it than the rest, but it's always good to sit down with everybody and, you know, make sure that it's, you know, a mutual thing.
Yeah, internal band communication is always an interesting avenue, and I'm hoping that I can talk to a band about that. But somehow I think that will go horribly wrong if I do. But yeah, internal communication is absolutely vital.
Yeah, I mean, most of the bands that I work with, thankfully, have really great communication. So it's been really good that they're all like on the same page, which I think is very helpful.
Thanks for the thoughts and views on getting the most out of using a PR firm and what sort of avenues they can help a band with. Now, charity gigs, that was particularly interesting aspect, because I interviewed for the series quite recently a band from Australia, a guy called Matt Turner, who's with the band called the Skinwalkers, and his main focus, and in fact the band's main focus, absolute focus is working with homelessness. And I know that your charity gigs, and you've recently done a festival with more planned in the future, is about homelessness. Perhaps you can talk about how you got involved and what it is that this charity festival is all about.
Yeah, how I got involved with with homelessness in the beginning is I, started working with an organization a couple of years ago, and I felt very passionately about working with the homeless, especially the youth, because they don't have a voice and they don't have the support in LA. I don't know how it is in other parts of the world, but in LA, a lot of people don't believe that there's homeless youth that exist. And a lot of them just look like normal people. I mean, they'll take showers at their friends' homes and they'll be out there. And I think that I've been wanting to bring more awareness that these homeless youth exist, just because a lot of people don't think they do, or have that stigma of they're being lazy, or, why are they on the street? And, I've connected with an organization, the one that was the beneficiary this past year, which is called Safe Place for Youth. And they actually work with homeless youth in the Venice area.
Right.
So they have been great. I've been really good friends with the executive director, and I've done some stuff with them before. And, I kind of felt like, I want to give them at least some money, whatever I raise for the charity event, just because they really need it. And, they're making such a difference with these youth. So I contacted her, and she was, very happy to hear that she was going to be the beneficiary. So, it brought more awareness to their organization, because, I promoted, their website and their Facebook and what they did. And
what about other infrastructure support? Obviously, you've got the bands who are keen to play, and you also have the fans who are keen to come and watch the bands. What about the infrastructure around that? Is there much interest in helping with this sort of charity?
Yeah, there was interest. I mean, with anything with charity, sometimes people, either will say they will help out and it doesn't happen. But thankfully, I, have a good group of friends. I mean, my friends were some of the main supporters, and my family promoted the event. My friends promoted the event and told everyone that they knew, to come out. And, on top of the venue, the guy that gave me the opportunity to use his venue at the airliner, it was to me, it was a sign, because I contacted other places and they weren't interested. So when he heard about this, he wanted to help me out. So the venue was helpful. My friends from Shockbox TV, which, covered this event, and they promoted it a lot, and they felt strongly about, you know, the homeless youth organization, and they actually had covered my previous charity event, which was for the winter drive. So they interviewed me there as well. So they've been big supporters, and we just connected via Twitter. So Twitter has been very helpful for me to connect with, you know, getting help, because these guys are just open to helping with any event that I have that has to do with charity. They're there. And it's been nice to have that support. So, you know, a lot of people sometimes don't know how to help, and I think I've given people the opportunity, you know, different type of people that may not be able to volunteer, you know, can feel empowered at least to going to a charity festival with music, and at least they know their money is going straight to the charity. So I think that's been powerful to get different type of people to help out. And some of them were even interested in checking out the website. So I think, you know, this kind of taps into different type of people that want to make a difference, but they really don't know how, or, you know, they just, at least being part of the charity event, they knew that they were there and they were making a difference.
Sure. I mean, from the conversation that I had with Matt from the Skinwalkers, well, their almost raison d'etre is about helping homelessness youth in Australia and also around the rest of the world. But one of the comments he made was that there are people that just jump on bandwagons, which I guess is a problem. But for a band that's serious about this and actually thinks, well, you know, this is something that matters. We're a band, but we've also got a message to give out to the world. And you've already said that Elektro PR insists that the clients that they work with full time actually do support and do work and are happy to work with and prepared to work with charities. I would imagine that it also gives bands potentially a slightly different audience. People that don't necessarily naturally sit with the music will naturally sit with what it is they're trying to support as a charity.
Yeah, I believe it does, especially in LA. I mean, a lot of people sometimes aren't doing that kind of stuff, and I feel that when there's bands that come out and really want to do this for charity, I feel they will get that different type of fan. You know, maybe they're not a huge fan of the music, but since they know they're supporting, you know, a certain organization, they'll be more open to coming or even, you know, promoting for them or telling people about the event. And I think, you know, it does make sense about the bandwagon. I've seen that happen. I've seen some bands that I don't work with but do that kind of stuff, and then they just do it just to get people out. But I feel that when people do it genuinely, it's better because, you know, you can keep doing this. It's powerful. You never know what you're going to tap into or what people are going to come to your show.
Sure.
You might tap into someone that's very influential in your city or your state that might see this and might want to help out. So I think it does tap into a different type of audience that, you know, can be very helpful for the band to gain more fans and to actually help their cause. Yeah.
You're running another festival in the future. What if there's a band from abroad that's actually very interested in this particular charity arena? Are you open to bands from not necessarily even abroad, you know, from other parts of the US and other parts of the world to get involved in your festival next year?
Yeah, of course. If they want to contact me and they have a way of getting over to where we are, because I know sometimes bands will be over here, and I mean, if they want to, I'm open to that. If they want to, you know, submit their music and be part of this, that would be great.
Okay. And the best way to contact you is at the moment via your Facebook page, is that right?
Yeah, my Facebook page, or they can actually email me at elektropr12@gmail.com.
Okay, I'll put both of those links at the bottom of the interview. Well, I do appreciate your time. It's particularly interesting and somewhat heartening to talk to to a PR firm that I get on with, as opposed to one that drives me up the wall. So thanks, Betty. And people didn't hear because there was a slight problem with the technical connection during this interview. But Betty's dog Pepper decided to join in at one stage, which made for a very interesting interlude. So also thank you to you, Pepper, for letting Betty chat to me. Really appreciate it, and look forward to speaking to you again soon. You take care.
Yeah, thank you so much, Tim. It was a pleasure.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Finishing with Nowhere to Go by the William Street Strikers, which is the introductory track to the Indie Music Tip series.